Hello, everybody. How's it going? Been a while, hasn't it? I think, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Yes, exactly. Last week I couldn't do the stream because I was a bit under the weather, so I had to reschedule. But no worries. We shall finish the Eye of Argon today, I hope. We were almost finished with it last time, but I figured might as well, you know, get it over with here. Because there's not much left to it. I think we stopped at chapter 6, so there's probably 3 chapters left. So, might as well get right down to it. We are joined today by Ryle,
Hi.
the Pockman. Myth will join us later. I think he's busy with college stuff, which is fine. And I don't know where. Well, Dylan's probably doing his practice thing, and I'm guessing Exodus is taking a long nap or something. Anyway,
Yep.
how you doing, Ryle?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. And you? Are you better now?
Oh yeah, I'll never make that mistake again. Maybe drinking 2 bowls of chocolate milk in one night. Yeah, don't do it. It's not a good idea.
True.
It won't help.
Another bad idea is to drink 1 liter of energy drink in
Oh
one
my god.
setting.
Uh, you speak as if you've done this.
Yes, I
Oh
did
no,
that once.
I'm sorry.
You don't want to know what happens if you do that.
I kind of want to know, but I don't think we should say. Like, I don't. Sounds
Let's just
horrifying.
let's just say you won't be able to leave the toilet for a few hours.
Oh dear. Oh
Yeah.
dear. Oh my god. No. But at least you're hydrated. Okay, I should just. That was a terrible joke. So for the story, we did stop at chapter 6, right? I think.
As far as I remember, yes.
Yeah. So let's see here. Share the screen. Hit this button here. Hit this other button. Here. There we go. There we go. Chapter 6. I need to show this just to make sure. Yeah, chapter 5 was like, yeah, it was that small. The whole shaman thing and the lady with the big honkers. Okay, chapter 6
Yep.
of the Eye of Argon, one of the most horrifying pieces of fiction I've ever seen in my life. Because there were words like this.
Is it really? I mean, you've read many fan fictions so far, so
Like I don't pursue fan fictions with the same zeal as you do, buddy. Like some of the things I see you post in the Dumpster Fires channel is I don't know how to put it. Remember that one where you're like what was it? Dumbledore engages Harry Potter to Khal Drogo, and I'm just I like I don't. I was just sitting there. I just opened my phone and I read that and I was like, oh okay. This is what you're finding. I don't find things like this mostly because I don't look. But
the problem is that seems to be its own genre. To be honest, I mean,
yeah, I noticed you guys started talking about it. You guys saying that yeah, it's its own thing. A lot of people like it, and I'm sitting here. What? Who likes this? Like what?
Apparently, many people think Harry slash Khal Drogo makes sense.
Yeah, 16-year-old girls probably. You're right. As the old saying goes, like they're the cause of most of the cringe on any fan fiction website or any fiction whatsoever, to be honest. But yes,
Well, this wasn't written by a preteen girl or a teenage girl, so
how do you know?
because we know who our author was.
I'm just messing with you. Anyway, chapter 6 of the Eye of Argon. Last I remember, Rigner was in a cell trying to figure out a way to escape, and there was another subplot of lady that's about to be sacrificed or something in a ritual by an ugly priest.
Druid.
Druid, yes, that's the word, correct. And I couldn't figure out what the link between them was because it was never stated. But I'm sure we're gonna learn today in chapter 6, 7, and 8. Why is most of the okay? We hadn't even reached halfway, so this is probably gonna take a while, which is fine. We get to see what the mystery is about here. You ready, buddy?
I am. Are you?
Yes, and we are also joined by Exodus. Hello.
Hello.
I thought you fell asleep.
Almost dead.
Yeah, you should chill, bud.
Yeah, I know.
Chill and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I
Let's
know.
see. Chapter 6 of the Eye of Argon. Take hold of this rope, said the first soldier, and climb out from your pit, slut. Your presence is requested in another far deeper hellhole. Rigner slipped his right hand to his thigh, concealing a small, opaque object beneath the folds of the G-string wrapped about his waist. G-string. Brian Wells swelled in Gregner's cold, jade squinting eyes, which had grown accustomed to the gloom of the Stygian pools of ebony engulfing him, were bedazzled and blinded by flickering radiance cast forth by the second soldier's resin torch.
What? Okay, first of all, what is brine?
Brine is ice. Like it's not quite ice. Also, hello, professional Hagrid impersonator.
Hello.
Welcome, if maybe you want to read that sentence as well. I mean,
No, it's cool. I'm doing it. Brine. Let's see here. Specifically look up what brine means. I can't tell you what the meaning is off the top of my head. Brine.
Water
Never mind.
strongly impregnated with salt.
Why do I think? Okay, I guess I'm wrong. Why did I think brine means like icy, salty water?
probably because you thought he glared at the soldier, and usually when you say glare, you say icy.
I mean, okay, this kind of makes sense, because he's salty.
I don't think that was a common saying in the 70s.
Most likely not. I mean, you're right, but it is. I like it. I might. Okay, I probably won't use this, but it's fun. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Tightly gripped in the second soldier's right hand, opposite the intermittent torch, was a large double-edged axe. A long leather wound oaken handle handle. Okay, got it. Large double axe, long leather wound oaken handle, transfixing the center of the weapon's iron head.
Do you think that level of detail is necessary?
On one hand, no. On the other hand, kinda.
I mean,
mean,
if it were given throughout, like in parts, it would have made more sense.
Oh yeah. This is fan fiction level descriptions. So like, imagine the person introduces his character and just immediately starts describing him detail by detail, top to bottom.
Yeah, I would think
Just-
that's a self-insert.
That is
Bonus-
that's
annoying when it happens.
Bonus points if a character looks in a mirror.
oh yeah, I mean, okay, I did that. In my
What's
book.
most annoying is when they give precise measurements for the character. Like he stood at 5'6", 180 pounds.
Excuse you, it's 5'6" and a quarter of an inch as well.
Yes.
Right. That part is I did this in my book, but at least I made it a plot point.
Yeah, like it's fine if there's a purpose, but just randomly describing them in that high of detail.
You also have to describe if they have a boyfriend or girlfriend. You know what I think it is? I think it's because of the Japanese handbooks in anime and etc. Like they have the tendency to have so many useless details. Like remember in Naruto they would have Sasuke handbooks and it'd be like he likes tomatoes and I'm sitting here like I've never seen this guy eat a tomato in my life. He's never done it on screen and I'm supposed to believe that he likes tomatoes. But yeah.
To be fair, this exists also in Western fiction. I mean, everything in Pottermore is basically
Oh yeah,
that.
like I see stuff in Pottermore, like what the heck is this? And I see things every time. I've been updating In Pursuit of Magic. It's near done with the update, and every time I look something up for Harry Potter, I see these posts that are like Jacob's sibling used this, and I'm sitting here like, who the heck is Jacob? And I just look up Jacob, and it's some kind of offshoot. I don't even know website / book /
I
whatever
tried
it
the
is.
game and it's literally a money
Oh, it's a
pit.
game.
You throw money into it. Yeah, it's a game. It's a mobile game.
Oh, so that's what the heck that is. I'm wondering who the heck is Jacob?
Jacob
What
is
does it have to
essentially
do?
like his the main character's brother who ran away from home and had a
Yeah.
lot of criminal charges against him.
Wow. Okay. Jesus Christ.
He ran away
Alright.
from home. Is it the wrong boy who lived fanfiction?
Oh please. No, please. I'm starting to dislike those. To be honest with
I've
you.
just learned to ignore everything after the books. Like after book 7 was published, everything else is just doesn't exist to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just work with the books, possibly the movies, and then I just move on with my life. I don't see
The movies did have some parts where they did good.
Yeah, like calmly asking Harry about the Goblet of Fire. I like that scene.
I used to say I ignore everything after book 5 personally.
Most people used to say that, yes. Because they didn't like Horcruxes or Deathly Hallows. They wanted the independence subplot and the whole coming into your own. Like they wanted the main character to actually learn magic and use it to fight. Instead, it became
I'm
running
a Guffin
around.
Hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like find the item, destroy item. You don't actually have to practice anything.
I used to say it became a Legend of Zelda plot basically in book 7. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, get
you're right.
Book
these-
7 was a giant fetch quest.
Yep. It's not even a good one.
With a
It's-
battle at the end.
I mean, if you could call that a battle.
Yeah, if you call it a battle.
Yeah, it's
A bunch
the
of people dying off screen.
the first time I read that Voldemort died, I was like, wait, I have to go back a page because it was like so sudden.
It really was. Like, it's confusing. It's confusing. But I mean,
Like
And she
even
knew it was confusing because she had to explain how it happened right after. in in story.
Yep.
Even in your fanfiction, Zero, the Dragon Quest crossover, the mental battle between Harry and Voldemort, that was better than the
Yeah, that
actual
thing was
final
weird.
battle.
I don't know how I thought of that.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was fun weird. I mean,
I
I
feel
still
like
remember
as
it.
I was writing that story, I just kept coming up with ideas and just like throwing them in there. Hey, what if I had Smallville in this story? Just, just put it in there. What if I had Stargate SG-1 in there? You know what? Just also
I mean,
hello
the
person.
part that I will never forget is that you had that scene where Voldemort and Harry have a Pokemon battle in
Look,
his
man,
mind.
it needed to happen.
Yes.
Yes, we have someone whose eyes are already bleeding, by the way, guys. I think our job is complete. We can go home. Goodbye, everybody. I'm just kidding. We need to get through this. We made a
We
commitment.
need your brains to bleed out too.
Yes, you need to have an aneurysm.
Let's
Where were
continue.
we?
Adorning.
The torsos of both of the sentries were thin yet sturdy hauberks. The breastplates of which were woven of tightly hemmed twines of reinforced silver braiding. Cupping the soldiers' feet were thick leather sandals, wound about their shins to 2 inches below their knees. Wrapped about their waists were wide satin girdles, with slender bladed poniards dangling loosely from them, the hilts of which featured scarlet encrusted gems. Some nice swords there. Resting upon the manes of their heads, and reaching midway to their brows were smooth copper morions. What is... Alright, what the heck is a morion? Morion meaning. What do we got here? Kind of helmet without beaver or visor, worn by soldiers in the 16th and 17th centuries. Oh.
Oh, it's
There's-
like the conquistador helmet. Looking
Yeah.
at a picture.
Yeah. Also, we have someone else who enjoyed the Pokemon battle. Thank you.
I enjoyed everything about LDR.
Like, I enjoyed writing it. It was like, I don't know, it was a fun time. Even though it doesn't really make much sense, it's just fun to write. Spiraling the lower portion of the helmet were short, upcurved silver spikes. Ooh, I like spikes. While a golden hump spired from the... Okay, how many times are gonna spire things? From the top of each bassinet. Beneath their chins, wound around their necks, and draping their clad shoulders, dangled regal purple satin cloaks, which flowed midway to the soldiers' feet. And hand over hand, feet braced against the dank walls of the enclosure. Huge Grigner. Huge Grigner. Why is he described this way? I mean, get his big, but like... Huge Grigner ascended from the moldering depths of the forlorn abyss. His swelled limbs, stiff due to the boredom of a timeless inactivity, compounded by the musty atmosphere. I'm guessing he wanted to say atmosphere, but was also wanting to say moisture, so it ended up being an unholy mix of both. Atmosphere.
No.
And
You know what Grigner is doing when he's alone in the cell.
I mean, his swelled limbs. He's lying to us. They ain't stiff. We know what he's been doing. He's certainly been doing a timeless activity. Well, not inactivity, but a timeless activity.
By the way, it's not a musty atmosphere, it's a musty atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Can you say atmosphere?
No, I said it's a mix between the two words, and then I
Oh,
literally
okay.
pronounced it. Okay, where were we? Compounded by the musty atmosphere and jagged granite okay, protubering, this guy's saying it wrong, against his body craved for action. So he needed action for his swelled limbs. Swelled limbs, action. I like where this is going. The opportunity now presenting itself served the purpose of oiling his rusty joints and honing his dull senses. He braced himself, facing the second soldier. The sentry's stature double was. I don't like it. I do this sometimes, but I mostly correct it. This is painful to me.
Double words. This is
Yes.
why editing is important, people.
Oh yeah. If I show any of you my In Pursuit of Magic chapter right now, everybody is gonna just look at it and just look at me and say I'm the stupidest person in existence because there's so many double words. Because I write with my phone. Tends to happen.
But this author didn't.
This author wrote it in the 70s on a sheet of paper. Maybe I should
On a typewriter.
was it really?
Yeah.
Actually kind of cool. I've always wanted to try a typewriter. Anywho. Facing the sun, okay. His stature, the sentry's stature was wildly exaggerated in the glare of the flickering crescent cuppix in his right fist. Crescent cuppix? Crescent meaning. Crescent, a metal container of oil, grease, wood, or coal burned as a torch. Okay, so he's holding a torch, and this is probably cupped instead of cuppix. All right.
Yeah, Cuppix doesn't look like it's a word.
I don't know. I'm
He
good.
did.
What are you saying?
He did mention the torch a few sentences ago. So
I know that, but my vocabulary is not that varied. I don't generally use crescent. I would say I would use torch, and that's it. Like, what? Why overcomplicate things? If that makes sense. His eyes were wide open in a slightly slanted owlish glaze, enhanced in their sinister intensity by the hawkbill curve of his nose and pale yellow peak of his cheeks. Place your hands behind your back. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't call him a slut again, said the second soldier as he raised his axe over his right shoulder blade and cast it a wavering glance. We must bind your wrist to parry any attempts at escape. Okay. Be sure to make the knot a stout one, Broig. We wouldn't want our guests to take leave of our guidance.
What a nice soldier, warning him before tying him up.
Yeah, we're gonna tie you up. We're not gonna. We're gonna tell you exactly what we're gonna do. So just you don't take leave of our guidance. What is take leave of our guidance? I feel like I should start talking like this in real life. Just confuse people left and right. And I should call people slut. This dude. This is the first soldier. Anywho. Broig grasped Grigner's left wrist and reached for the barbarian's right wrist. Because we needed to know that they're right and left. Main narrative sounding cute. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel blushing now. Broig, okay? No, I can't laugh. If I laugh, I lose. This must not happen. We're still playing that.
No, we are not. Continue reading.
Grigner wrenched his right arm free and swiveled to face Broig. Reached beneath his loincloth with his right hand. Oh no.
Oh my.
What is he doing now? Didn't he call it a G-string before?
Yes. And now it's a loincloth.
Loincloth. Oh my god, he's about to go to town. I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready. The sentry grappled at his girdle for the sheathed dagger. Woo! It's definitely exciting. But recoiled, short of his intentions, as Grigner's right arm swept to his gorge. The soldier went limp, his bobbing eyes rolling beneath fluttering eyelids, a deep welt across his spouting gullet. Oh, I mean, this is good too. I mean, people got a welt on his gullet. Without lingering to observe the result of his efforts, Grigner dropped to his knees. The second soldier's axe cleft over Grigner's head in a blaze of silvered ferocity, severing several scarlet locks from his scalp. Ooh, I like the alliteration here. Second soldier's axe, silvered ferocity, severing several scarlet locks from his scalp. This is pretty good. Why are we wearing a loincloth into battle? Hey, don't.
He's a barbarian, that's why.
And
He's a
prisoner.
he's a great barbarian man with great big swelling muscles and a nice large.
His very looks makes people warn him
Yes.
about when they're going to tie him up.
Oh yes. But yes, it does sound like an easy way to get painful injuries. You're right. Coming to rest in his fellow's stomach, the iron head crashed through mail and flesh with splintering force, spilling a pool of crimsoned entrails over the granite paving. Crimson entrails. I like it. Before the sentry could wrench his axe free from his comrade's carcass, he found Grigner's massive hands clashed about his throat, choking the life from his clamped lungs. I feel like at any point here, some guy's gonna just say "harder, daddy" or something. Maybe it's just me. Probably just me. With a zealous grunt, the accordion flexed his tightly corded biceps. The accordion?
Yeah, that's where he's from.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the barbarian
Yeah.
from Accordia or something.
Yep.
Flexed his tightly corded biceps, forcing the grim-faced soldier to one knee. The sentry plunged his right fist into Grigner's face, digging his grimy nails into the barbarian's flesh.
Okay.
Give me a moment. Alright, is it just give me a second here?
You
Okay.
know that word also means to exclaim.
I know. It just I didn't expect it. Ejaculating a curse through rasping teeth, Grigner surged the bulk of his weight forward, bowling the besieged soldier upon his back. The sentry's arms collapsed to his thigh, shuddering convulsively. His bulging eyes staring blindly from a bloated chariot face. Well, at least nothing else is bulging here. There is something ejaculating though, but I mean, let's say this. No, let's ignore that. Let's go back here. I heard there were hot chicks here. You missed it. It was in the previous chapter, but we're probably gonna see her again. Don't you worry, buddy. Also, hello, welcome. At least have a tunic girding your loins or something. Loins. Rising to his feet, Grigner shook the blood from his eyes, ruffling
mean
his
blood.
surly red
mean
mane.
blood.
What is it?
You mean blood? It's not
I
blood.
mean, look, I'm not gonna wait and misread it, unless it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, ruffling his sturdy red mane as a brush fire swaying to the nighttime breeze. How many times has his red mane been compared to various things which are close to fire?
We should start a tally at some point, like repeated words or something. I don't know.
As many times as his eyes have been compared to emeralds and jade.
And orbs, yes. Even if they're gone now that you're here. Oh, that's pretty savage from you, sir. That is indeed quite savage. I'm not sure whether to laugh or cry. Even though it wasn't even directed to me. I only have this to say to you, sir.
Your days are over, mister.
I just needed to an excuse to use that one. It's been a while.
Yes.
We get it, the character vapes.
Indeed.
He ejaculates from his mouth, that's what he does. Anyway. Stooping over the sprawled corpse of the first soldier, Grigner retrieved a small white object from a pool of congealing gore. Snorting a gusty billow of mirth, he once more concealed the tiny object beneath his loincloth. The tediously honed pelvis bone. Look, look, man. No, I can't laugh. I can't laugh. I have to keep it together. The tiny object beneath his loincloth. Like, I managed to not laugh. I thought I did like the most amazing thing in my entire existence, and then you guys just lose it. No. Oh. Yeah, it's tiny. Tiny pee-pee. Beneath loincloth. This is an amazing story. I'm just gonna say that. It needs to be said.
Hey, at least he subverts a cliche that the main character always has the biggest object.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The tediously honed pelvis bone of the broken rodent. Yeah, I'm sure that's what that is. Returning his attention towards the second soldier, Grigner turned to the task of attiring his limbs. To move about freely through the dim recesses of the castle would require the grotesque garb of its soldiery.
What?
So he's basically doing a hitman, right? He's putting on the clothes of the second soldier. He's attiring his limbs. I know it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I mean,
Wait, he's wearing.
if you read the Iliad, the heroes do that mid-battle all the time. So
I mean,
do a
for a
hitman?
moment, maybe it's just me, but attiring his limbs to me sounds like he was severing them, and then I don't know.
No, he's just putting on a tire.
Oh,
Not gonna lie,
his
you get-
limbs, not the soldiers.
No, he's attiring his own limbs.
This is so badly written. In
I
this
know.
context.
yeah,
All right, see. Meppy says, not gonna lie, you could tell me this is a story about a guy who lost a bet, and I totally see it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy who wrote this lost a bet. It's been a journey with this story. It's so weird, but it kind of also feels epic. Like, I would never write like this. Turn to the task of attiring his limbs. Like, I would never write anything like this. Exodus, you're a robot right now. Your internet connection is betraying you.
It's bad. Mute yourself.
Yeah, you gotta.
you've turned into R2D2.
Yeah, you've turned into a robot. You gonna start beeping? Yeah, beep. I don't even like Star Wars, and I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm kidding.
Maybe that's why Dylan hates us.
No,
Ex-
it's that I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I'll say that.
Execute Order 66.
Yeah, I like that meme. That's a nice meme.
I
don't know.
am the Senate.
Yeah.
I love democracy.
I think Exodus will join us back in a bit. I'm assuming he's having internet issues. Honestly, dude, if you're tired, because I know it's late for you, you can chill if you like. We good. We good. I'm not gonna be sad. Okay,
We are
where
sad about
Gusty,
Dylan, though.
Gusty Billow of Merle. Oh, he's back. Hello, welcome back.
Do I sound like R2D2 now?
No. Let's
Okay.
see here.
You're human again.
You are now a person instead of a robot. He attired his limbs, garb of
Okay.
the soldiery. There we go. Here. I want to see what this picture looks like. I'm just gonna like copy image. Wait, no. I'm gonna copy image link and check it out elsewhere.
And show it,
But
though.
it's nothing important. Anyway, no, it doesn't even need. It's that unimportant. Doesn't need to be shown.
It's an illustration from the story.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't add to the story.
Like I don't even know what this is. It's not. It's a picture of a.
It's a rodent.
Oh, the hip
The
bone.
rat he stole.
It's the rat hip bone that. Oh my god, this is. Oh wow. All right. Okay. No. I'll show this. Let me just this here. Can I open a new thing with this? Let's see.
Yes.
New tab. All right. Good. Cool. This is what it is. That's it. Gonna give you guys a moment to just absorb this image.
Is that a unibrow?
It's a rat with a unibrow. Yes.
That looks more like not a rat.
I know.
It
But
kind of looks like a dog face.
looks like a dog with whiskers and a unibrow and
Yeah.
cat eyes.
And lipstick.
Owlishly
Lipstick.
slanted eyes.
Let's
It certainly doesn't look like a rat.
let's just zoom out of this and just go back to the story. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just get out of that. Utilizing the silence and stealth acquired in the untamed climes of his childhood, Grigner slinked through twisting corridors and winding stairways, lighting his way with the confiscated torch of his dispatched guardian. Knowing where his steps were leading to, Grigner meandered aimlessly in search of an exit from the chateau's dim confines. The wild blood coursing through his veins. The amount of errors in 7 lines here, 6 lines, is insane. The wild blood coursing through his veins yearned for the undefiled freedom of the livid wilderness lands. Coming upon a fork in the passage, he shrieked. Voices accompanied by clinking footfalls discerned to his sensitive ears from the left corridor. Wishing to avoid contact, Grigner veered to the right passageway. If quested, I'm guessing people ask him a question here. As to the purpose of his presence, yeah. His barbarous accent would reveal his identity, being that his attire was not that of the castle's mercenary troops. In grim silence, Grigner treaded down the dingily lit corridor, a stalking panther creeping warily along on padded feet. After an I'm guessing indeterminable, period of wandering through the dull corridors, no gaps to break the monotony of the cold gray walls, Grigner spied a small winding stairway. Descending the flight of arched granite slabs to their posterior, Grigner was confronted by a short hallway leading to a tall arched wooden doorway. All right, so he's playing Hitman. He's running around the castle and just hiding from the mercenaries slash guards. I think this is a great example of or describing trying to sound smart, but it completely backfires. Can't believe the dude used. Yeah, yep, he did indeed use ejaculating in that context. Like, just because it's technically correct doesn't mean that it's right.
That sounds like a
Halting.
Shiro quote.
A Shiro quote? I feel.
Emiya Shiro, Fate's Day Night, people die when they are killed.
Oh. No.
That's another line of his.
I know he says that line, but like, I don't think mine applies.
The line you just said, just because you're right doesn't mean you're correct or something.
I said just because you're technically correct doesn't mean that it's right.
Yeah. That's the spirit of what he says too.
It isn't though. Because people die when they are killed is kind of stupid. But when I say technically, when I use the word technically before correct, and then after that I just use the word right, it implies two entirely different contexts.
I said that's a line which Shiro says too. Not that it's comparable to the first line. I said the first line to identify him to you because you don't know who I'm talking about.
Oh.
I mean, you said Shiro. My first thought was Dark Wolf Shiro. I was confused.
Yeah, like I thought that too, and I got confused as well. It's a very common name at this point. So many people use that name now. Didn't Slughorn ejaculate once like that in canon? I don't remember. You think he did in book 6 or something?
He did.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but it's been a while since I've actually read the books.
I trust Ryle. He knows. He remembers these things. He's our server expert on cringe.
And dumpster fires.
Dumpster fire cringes, yes. I swear, man, he finds the craziest things all the time. Like, it started with the commie stuff. By the way, has he updated at all? Or did he completely give up? You remember the guy who was writing about a character called Kami?
Oh, let me check. One moment.
Yeah, while you do that, I'll continue reading here. Halting before the teeming portal. Rigner rests his shaggy head sideways against the barrier. Detecting no sounds from within, he grasped the looped metal handle of the door. His arms surging with a tremendous effort of bulging muscles, yet the door would not budge. Retrieving his axe from where he had sheathed it beneath his girdle, he hefted it in his mighty hands with an appeased grunt. Is that a word? Let's see here. No, it's not a word.
Is he pushing or pulling the door?
No, he hasn't.
That's sad that Kami was never updated. He hefted it, appeased grunt.
I mean, where was he supposed to go from where he was? I mean, he had demons to build rocket ships to go into space. I mean, how can you top that?
Dude, that dude was topping everything he was doing before. It just boggled the mind. I just wanted to see where he would go from there. But anyway, okay, so he retrieved the axe. okay, hefted it with an appeased grunt, and wedging one of its blackened edges into the crack between the portal and its iron-rimmed sill. Okay, so he's putting it in the door sill, and he's gonna use the axe
Just
as a
gonna
lever.
pry the door open.
Yeah, exactly. Bracing his sandaled right foot against the roughly, obviously, hewn wall, teeth tightly clenched. Grigner. See, there it is. Well, I mean, I don't know about the appy here, but, levered. Grigner, appy levered. I don't even know what that means. The oaken haft, employing it as a lever, whereby to pry open the barrier. This entire sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaks for itself.
Speaking about the Kami story, maybe we should read that one sometimes in the stream too.
Is it
in the
still
future.
up?
Of course, it's still up.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if you think, is there any content that probably shouldn't be on YouTube?
Nope. He is nope. Unless you count fight scenes, and even those are tame. I mean, I've shared
No,
more
no.
usual stuff.
Fight scenes are fine. Here, lever whereby. Okay, the leather wound. Okay, the leather wound hilt bending to its utmost limits of endurance. Because that's important. Everything needs to go to the utmost limits. The massive portal swung open with a grating of snapped latch and rusty iron hinges. Glancing about the dust-swirled room in the gloomily dancing glare of his flickering cresset, Regner eyed evidences of the enclosure being nothing more than a forgotten storeroom. Miscellaneous articles required for the maintenance of a castle were piled in disorganized heaps at infrequent intervals towards the wall opposite of the barbarian's piercing stare. Like, this is over description to the extreme. The dust-swirled room, the gloomily dancing glare, the flickering crescent.
I will say this. At least it's not 2 pages describing a pebble.
What?
Back in high school, when I had to read The Scarlet Letter, I stopped reading because there were 2 solid pages describing a pebble.
But it's a pebble. You just a tiny piece of rock. That's it. Wait. Why would you? I need to see this 2-page description. What could you possibly describe other than the fact that it's a rock and it's small?
You know, the texture and the color
The
and
texture. You're gonna eat it?
That is one of the few books that I have never finished.
Sorry that you had to suffer through that. Yeah, we were here. Piercing stare. Ooh. Maybe he's gonna pierce us with his rat pelvis. Utilizing long, bounding strides, Grigner paced his way over to the mounds of supplies to discover if any articles of value were contained within their midst. Detecting a faint clinking sound, Grigner sprawled to his left side with the speed of a striking cobra, landing harshly upon his back, torch and axe loudly clattering to the floor in a morass of sparks and flame. An elm-woven board leaped from collapsed flooring. All right, we're back to Rorschach terms of speak. Flashing against the jagged flooring. Okay, flooring twice, and spewing a shower of orange and yellow sparks over Scrigner's startled face. Okay, I'm surprised they didn't say flooring again. Rising uneasily to his feet, the half-stunned Ecordian glared down at the gruesome arm of death he had unwittingly sprung. Mrifk! Mrifk. I wish I had a cool little catchphrase slash this is probably his version of shit.
No, that's his god.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was mentioned like in chapter 2 or something.
I'll
where
be
he
honest,
looks weird.
that was 2 weeks ago. I only remember I don't remember the details anymore.
Just remember that the advisor was killed by Grignir.
Yes,
Good.
that's right.
We'll see.
If not for his keen auditory organs and lighting steeled reflexes, Grignir would have been groping through the shadowed hell pits of the Grim Reaper. So it just says, hold on, let me read that again.
Come
If
on,
not for his keen
Grignir.
auditory.
Don't sexually assault the Grim Reaper.
He's groping through the shadowed hell pits of the Grim Reaper. He's groping everywhere. Like he's going, the armpits and then the pit between the legs.
What rule was it again? If it exists, where is spawn of it?
34.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. That's me cracking my knuckles. Or rather, actually, no, it is my knuckles. He had unknowingly stumbled upon an ancient, long-forgotten booby trap. Ooh, booby. I remember that. I remember the lady. A mistake which would have stunted the perusal of longevity of one less agile. Hey, this is what I mean about the story just being written weird. It would have stunted the perusal of longevity of one less agile. Like, I know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that if he was
would have cut his
slower,
life short.
cut his life short. But the way it's written stunted the perusal of longevity of one less agile. Like, what? It's like the writing is both ascending and descending at the same time. A mechanism similar in type to that of a miniature catapult was concealed beneath two collapsible sections of granite flooring. The arm of the device was 4 feet long. Looks like something else, huh? Just kidding. No, he doesn't. It's hidden. It's tiny beneath his loincloth. Boasting razor-like cleats at regular intervals along its face, with which it was to skewer the luckless body of its would-be victim. Grignir had stepped upon a concealed catch which released a small metal latch between two granite sections. Or we'll get back to this, causing them to fall inward, and thereby loose the spiked arm of death they precariously held in.
We get it, it's a trap.
Yeah, it's been tired.
Do you have that clip? It's a trap?
No, sadly, no.
It's a trap.
I don't have it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Anywho. Okay, so it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap. Here's more descriptions of the trap. And it's going to be shooting him with a spike. Or it's going to loose the spiked arm. Something like that. Anyway, partially out of curiosity.
It's like a giant meat tenderizer on a lever that would have hit him.
I like the way you say that. That's what we're going to go with. Giant meat tenderizer. Trap. And partially out of inordinate fear of becoming a pincushion for a possible second trap. Oh, there's another one. Grignir plunged his torch into the exposed gap in the floor. The floor of a second chamber stood out 7 feet below the glare. Tossing his torch through the... he's trying to say aperture, but this is not how you write it. Grignir grasped the side of an adjoining tile, dropping down. Glancing about the room, Grignir discovered that he had descended into the palace's mausoleum. Rectangular stone crypts cluttered the floor at evenly placed intervals. The tops of the enclosures were plated with thick layers of virgin gold. Virgin. While the sides were plated with white ivory, at one time sparkling, but now grown dingy through the passage of the rays of all-encompassing Mother Time. Through the passage of the rays of all-encompassing Mother Time.
This is so weird.
Huh. Honestly, this book with a few slight edits, it could be good. I mean, it is good, but it's also awful. Like I honestly, every time I like this second time I'm looking at this, but like I understand what people mean when they say this story is both epic and also stupid. It's like original Broly. It was cool, but it was dumb. Featured at the head of each sarcophagus in tarnished silver was an expugnatively, I'm guessing expensively, expugnatively carved likeness of its rotting inhabitant. A dingy atmosphere. Where he said dingy? Come on, come on.
I mean, now I think he means expungent. You know, if someone looks.
Well, I mean, it's the carved likeness, right? It's done in tarnished silver. I wouldn't say expungent for it. It wouldn't fit
No.
the situation.
No, the likeness is expungent. You know, he looks ugly.
Maybe. A dingy atmosphere pervaded the air of the chamber, which sealed in the enclosure for an unknown period had grown thick and stale. Intermingling with the curdled currents was the repugnant stench of slowly moldering flesh. I don't think this is a word. Creeping ever slowly but surely through minute cracks in the numerous vaults. Due to the embalming of the bodies, their flesh decayed at a much slower rate than is normal. Yet, the nauseous odor, was nonetheless repellent. Also, odor with an O, not an E. Towering over Grignard's head was the trap he released. The mechanism of the miniaturized catapult was cluttered with mildew and cobwebs. Notwithstanding these relics of antiquity, its efficiency remained unimpinged. To the right of the trap wound a short stairway through a recess in the ceiling, a concealed entrance leading to the mausoleum for which the catapult had obviously been erected as a silent, relentless guardian. Jesus Christ, we get it. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
A trap. Climbing up the side of the device, Grigner set to the task of resetting its mechanism. In the event, that a search was organized, it would prove well to leave no evidence of his presence open to wandering eyes. Besides, might even serve to dwindle the size of an opposing force.
So Grignard is a barbarian. How does he know how to set the trap back to its original state?
I mean, he's the Gary Stu of barbarians, don't you know this? He's got maybe every answer is underneath his loincloth. Have you ever thought about that?
No, I haven't.
He's just got to reach in there and pull out a solution to every task. It's like Batman's utility belt, except it's a loincloth. Maybe that's why the loincloth is big, but what he specifically says his own thing is tiny. It's just full of goodies to solve the plot. Could be that. Okay, dwindle the size. Okay, I don't understand this part here. Like, okay, he's resetting the trap's mechanism, but why would anybody be searching for this? Isn't he just like trying to escape? Well, whatever. Descending from his perch, Grigner was startled by a faintly muffled scream of horrified desperation. Wait.
Oh, are we finally gonna have
Yeah, we're
the?
gonna reach the lady with the priest? Or am I wrong about this? Let's see. Getting excited. His hair prickled yawkishly. I don't even know what this means. Yawkishly. I typed yawkishly in a search engine and it just immediately goes to Eye of Argon. I'm gonna guess Hawk, but
Well, for me it said, "Did you mean hawkish?" And then the top result, "Eye of Argon lost manuscripts."
yeah, that's what I found. Let's keep going. Dude, I don't actually know what yawkishly means, but we're gonna try to figure out from the context. His hair prickled yawkishly in disorganized clumps along his scalp. Yeah, this doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, the
Never mind.
context did not help.
It's just all right. I mean, I'm guessing it's like goosebumps because before that he was startled by somebody screaming. So you know you ever like been walking along a hallway and you hear something that is not quite right and that just gives you goosebumps?
Yeah.
It's probably something like that because his hair is prickling as a cold danced along the length of his spinal cord. Wait, no, that's the entire sentence. No moral/mortal barrier, human or otherwise, was capable of arousing the numbing sensation of fear inside of Grigner's smoldering soul. Grigner's. Sorry, I need water. Ooh,
He's
much better.
literally just saying that Grigner had a cold chill.
Yep. The numbing sensation. Yep. Literally all of this. Well, I mean, also this was just to say that he's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird though. Like I keep expecting Grigner to just like destroy the entire kingdom he's in and destroy all his enemies, but he's kind of weak in terms of presence. Like he's supposed to be strong and super strong, etc. But like every time he tries to do something, he either fails or he's feeling fear. The only thing he's done right so far is escape and kill the guards, which it's fine. It's good. Good. Okay, smoking soul. However, he was overwrought by the forces of the barbarian's instinctive fear of the supernatural. His mighty thews had always served to adequately conquer any tangible foe.
So it's still describing how he's afraid.
Yep, like he's so strong. But the intangible was something distant and terrible. He can't do anything about this because he can't touch it. He can't choke it to death. Dim, horrifying tales passed by word of mouth over glimmering campfires and skins of wine had more than once served the purpose of chilling the marrowed core of his sturdy limp bones. Alright, so we're still talking about him being scared, yet the scream contained a strangely human quality, unlike that which Grigner imagined would come from the lungs of a demon or a spirit, making Grigner take short nervous strides advancing to the sarcophagus from which the sound was issuing. Clenching his teeth into it in an attempt to steel his jangled nerves, Grigner slid the engraved slab from the vault with a sharp rasp of grinding stone. Another long-drawn cry of terror-infested anguish met the barbarian, scoring like the shrill piping of a demented banshee, piercing the inner fibers of his superstitious brain with primitive dread. Okay, primitive dread, and all. So he's scared for the entire duration of this.
Yep.
But I do like this thing. Scoring like the shrill piping of a demented banshee. Let me just copy this here. Put it in the old dumpster fire. Stooping over to spy the tomb's contents. The glittering Ecordion's nostrils were singed by the scorching aroma of a moldering corpse, long shut up and fermenting. I feel like he's using moldering wrong here. Like, it's just molding, right?
Is he using anything right here?
I mean, singed by the scorching aroma. I mean, I can accept this. I can honestly, I can see myself using this at some point.
Molder is to slowly decay and or disintegrate, especially because of neglect.
All right, no, makes sense.
It's not typically used for corpses, though.
What's it used for?
Like inanimate objects, like for books moldering in a warehouse, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, I can see. Okay, that makes sense.
At least that's what I'm gathering from a quick Google search.
It would make sense. Like, it makes sense why I wouldn't see moldering corpse. This is like in this is the only time I've ever seen moldering and corpse in the same sentence. If I've ever seen moldering in the first place. The same putrid scent, which permeated the entire chamber, though multiplied to a much more concentrated dosage. The shriveled, leathery packet of crumbling bones and dried flaking flesh offered no resistance, but remained in a fixed position of perpetual vigilance, watching over its dim abode from hollow gaping sockets. The tortured cries were not coming from the tomb, but from some hidden depth below. Pulling the reeking corpse from its resting place, Grigner tossed it to the floor in a broken, mangled heap. Upon one side of the crypt's bottom was attached a series of tiny hinges while running parallel along the opposite side of a convex railing like protuberance, laid so as to appear as a part of the interior surface of the sarcophagus.
It just
I'm not
established
even-
that he's very superstitious.
Yes. But he's
Why would he
throwing
disturb
around
a
bodies.
tomb like that then?
I don't know. He's superstitious when the plot requires it, but not superstitious also when the plot requires it. Dare I say, irreverent. Raising the slab upon its bronze hinges, long removed from the gaze of human eyes, Grigner perceived a scene which caused his blood to smolder, not unlike bubbling molten lava. Yep, there it is. Directly below him, a whimpering female lay stretched upon a smooth-surfaced marble altar. A pack of, I'm guessing greasy-faced What's the plural of shaman? Shaman. Clustered around her in a tight circular formation. Crouched over the girl was a tall, pot-bellied priest, his face dominated by a disgusting, open-mouthed grimace of the sadistic glee. Suspended from the acolyte's clenched right hand was a carven oval-faced mallet, which he waved menacingly over the girl's shadowed face, an incoherent gibberish flowing from his grinning, thick-lipped mouth. Oh, this story. In the face of the amorphous. Amorphous? I mean, she's got a pretty simple form.
Yeah.
Why would she be called amorphous? broad-breasted, broad-breasted female stretched out alluringly before his gaping eyes, the universal whim of nature filing a plea of despair inside of his white-hot soul. Grigner acted in the only manner he could perceive. Giving vent to a hoarse, throat-rending battle cry, Grigner plunged into the midst of startled shaman, torch simmering in his left hand, and axe twirling in his right hand. Oof, oof. He's about to go to town. A gaunt, skull-faced priest standing at the far side of the altar clutched desperately at his throat, coughing furiously in an attempt to catch his breath. Lurching helplessly to and fro, the acolyte pitched headlong against the gleaming base of a massive jade idol, writhing agonizedly. What kind of word is this shit? Against the hideous image, foam flecking his chalk-white lips, the priest struggled helplessly, the victim of an epileptic seizure. Wait, so Grigner just drops down, and one of the priests just he freaks out into an epileptic seizure? That's it? Just his mere presence drives people into insanity. Startled by the barbarian's appearance, the chronic fit of their fellow, and the fear that Grigner might be the avant-garde of a conquering force dedicated to the cause of destroying their degenerated cult. Salmon momentarily lost their composure. Giving vent to heedless pandemonium. Alright, giving vent to insert feeling here. The priests fell easy prey to Grigner's sweeping arc of crimson death and maiming destruction. The acolyte performing the sacrifice took a vicious blow to the stomach, hands clutching vitals and severed spinal cord as he sprawled over the altar. The disorganized, that's what he meant, priest lurched and staggered with split skulls, dismembered limbs, and spewing entrails before the enraged Ecordian's relentless assault. The howls of the maimed and dying reverberate against the walls of the tiny chamber, a chorus of hell-fraught despair, as the granite floor ran red with blood. The entire chamber was encompassed in the heat of raw savage butchery, as Grigner luxuriated in the grips of a primitive, beastly bloodlust. This is like, he's just taking them to town and just killing every single one. And it's so, I don't know, 2 paragraphs ago he was frightened like a kitten, and now he's just destroying everything.
Well, now he knows that it's not supernatural.
I realize that, but I don't
It
know.
is a
Like
jarring shift.
it's just, this story is just hot and cold. I'm left confused. More than confused. I'm left dissatisfied. Okay, I do like that he's actually doing something for once, and not just sitting in a cave and counting the tiles or something. But I don't know. I feel like he just went from 0 to 11 in a single moment. Okay, beastly bloodlust. Presently, all went silent, save for the ebbing groans of the sinking shaman and Grigner's heaving breath. Sorry, Grigner's heaving breath, accompanied by several gusty curses. He likes saying this. Gust. The well had run dry. No more lambs remained for the slaughter. The rampaging stead of death having what? Rampaging stead of death having taken of Grigner for the moment, left the barbarian free to the exploitation of his other Perusials. I'm so confused here. Let me read this again. The rampaging stead of death, having taken of Grigner for the moment, left the barbarian free to the exploitation of his other I don't. Whatever. Like I'm gonna guess it's he finished killing people, so he's free to do other things. Towering over his head was the misshaped image of the cult's hideous deity, sorry. Argon. Ooh, Argon. The fantastic size of the idol in consideration of its being pure jade was enough to cause the senses of any man to stagger and reel. Yet thus far was not the case for the behemoth. He had
How
paid
does he
only
know his name is Argon?
Not sure. Maybe it's a known deity. Like
Sure.
we know the devil exists. We don't pay it any mind. We just know it exists, right? In terms of religion, theism, not theism. In terms of the information we have, right? Not that it exists, but that the concept of it exists, if it does. So this could be something like, oh, this is the deity from that other religion that's like kind of like a cult. Hey, it could be wrong.
Well, let's continue.
Not the case with the behemoth. He had paid only casual notice to this incredible fact. Let me guess. He's looking at the woman instead, while riveting the whole of his attention upon the jewel protruding from the idol's sole socket, its masterfully cut faucets emitting blinding rays of hypnotizing beauty. After all, a man cannot slink from a heavily guarded palace while burdened down by the intense bulk of a squatting statue, providing, of course, that the idol can even be hefted, which, in fact, was beyond the reaches of Grigner's coursing stamina. Oh, okay, so he just wanted the jewel. On the other hand, the jewel, gigantic as it was, would not present a hindrance of any mean concern. It's not how you write hindrance, and this does not fit in the sentence here. Help me, please. I can make it well worth your while, pleaded a soft, anguish-strewn voice wafting over Grigner's shoulders as he plucked the dull red emerald from its roots. Turning, Grigner faced the female that had lured him into this bloodbath, but whom had become all but forgotten in the heat of the battle.
The female.
Female. Like, I feel like this is Star Trek or something. With the Ferengi, like being like, the female. Why is the female clothed?
I do wonder why he just didn't write woman. Was the woman too complicated?
Female sounds more mysterious.
I don't think so, but okay.
I'm saying what it sounds like, not what it. Okay, it's how to explain this.
Don't explain it, just keep reading.
No, it needs an explanation. Thinking about it. Just give me a second here. It's like discombobulated versus confused. It gives off the impression that it's a more rare usage, which makes it. What's the word
It
I'm
gives
looking
the
for here?
appearance of higher intelligence.
There's that, but also mystery. Like, woman is pretty simple. Female is a little more abstract than woman. because woman is so commonly used and female is more used in clinical terms, if that makes sense. Like you don't generally say female unless you're talking about unless you're doing some kind of research or speaking in scientific terms. Like I don't tell people I'm male. I tell people I'm a man. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, all but for the female, all but forgotten in the heat of battle. You ejaculated the accordion in a police stone. I can tell something else is gonna ejaculate later. Oh, so she's the lady from the tavern. I thought that I had seen the last of you at the tavern, but verily I was mistaken. Verily. Has this word ever been used correctly in its entire history? Grigner advanced into the grips of the female's entrancing stare, severing the golden chains that held her captive upon the altar's highly polished face of ornamental limestone. As Grigner lifted the girl from the altar, her arms wound dexterously about his neck, soft and smooth against his harsh exterior. Art thou pleased that we have chanced to meet once again?
Oh God.
Art thou pleased?
He's got his King James Bible open again.
I am not fond of this.
This is you in a nutshell. Uh, oh dear.
Or his
Is
Shakespeare.
that the woman?
Yeah, I feel so.
Yeah.
Let me read this and then I'll show the image. Art thou pleased that we have chanced to meet once again? Rigner merely voiced and sighed grunt, returning the damsel's embrace while he smothered her trim, delicate lips between the coursing protrusions of his reeking maw. We get it, you kissed her.
And apparently his breath stinks.
Yeah, like
No, his freaking
Which makes
more.
sense, because
it does. It
he
does, but
doesn't
like
he hasn't had proper dental hygiene.
why are they bringing attention to it?
I don't know.
Because he's a barbarian.
Ooh. That nipple.
That's a big nipple.
So her boobs are basically a knife. And she's wearing a loincloth too. Wait, is this actually Grigner?
I don't think so.
Why are her feet so swollen? The heck? I know. Let's just move on. That was too weird for me.
Yeah.
Let us take leave of this wretched chamber. It's not how you write wretched. Stated Grigner as he placed the female upon her feet. She swooned a moment, causing Grigner to give her support, then regained her stance. Art thou able to find your way through the accursed passages of the castle? Risk! Every one of these corridors of this damn place are identical. I was at one time a slave of Prince Agaphim. His clammy touch sent a sour swill through my belly. But my efforts reaped a harvest. I gained the pig's liking, whereby he allowed me the freedom of the palace. It was through this means that I eventually managed to escape the palace. It was a simple matter to seduce the sentry at the western gate. His trust found him with a dagger thrust his ribs. His trust found him with a dagger thrust his ribs. Let me finish the sentence. The wench stated whimsically.
What?
It was a simple matter to seduce the sentry at the western gate. His trust found him with a dagger thrust, I'm gonna guess, in his ribs. And then she stated whimsically. Have
Is
you
there
ever...
even a word?
It's not.
Look, man, I am a whimsical person, alright? How dare you? How dare you imply that I'm nothing less than whimsical?
How dare you?
This is a word and you must accept it. Say it. Whimsical. Do it.
I refuse.
You have the power of the dark side in you. But in all seriousness, Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to think of what he was trying to say while also trying to say whimsical.
I don't think he was trying to say anything other than whimsical, except he just doesn't know what the word is. What were you doing at the tavern whence I discovered you? Asked Grigner as he lifted the female through the opening into the mausoleum. I had sought to lay low from the palace's guard as they conducted their search for me. The tavern was seldom frequented by the palace guards, and my identity was unknown to the common soldiers. It was through the disturbance that you caused that the palace guards were attracted to the tavern. I was dragged away shortly after you were escorted to the palace. What are you called by, female? I feel like Grugner is just like a nasally
He's already
fucking nerd.
sucked her face off, and he's just now asking what her name is.
This is such a nerd fantasy. Like, I feel like this is a nasally nerd in the body of Grigner. By what name are you called by, female? This is the impression that I'm getting seeing this. Parthena, daughter of Mincardos, Duke of Barwego, whose lands border along the northwestern fringes of Gorzom. This means nothing to me. Who the heck is this? Where's Barwego? Where's the northwestern fringes of Gorzom? I was paid as homage to Agathim upon his 38th year. Husk the
The Fim.
Husk the Fim. And I am called a barbarian, grunted Grigner in a disgusted tone. He's such a progressive compared to these weirdos here. Aye, the way of our civilization are in many ways warped and distorted. But what is your calling? She queried bustily. Bustily?
What?
He has big boobs.
What does that have to do with her question, though?
Everything. What is your calling, Grigner of Ecordia? Oh, okay. What is your calling? And he just says Grigner of Ecordia.
She's asking his name.
Yeah, that's it. I thought she was asking what his job was.
Yeah.
This is his name. I guess what do they call you by or something, right?
Yeah. What are you called?
Yeah. What is your calling? She inquired with her bust. Rigner of Ecordia. Ah. Yes, bustily. You never shaken your bust at someone when you were asking a question?
No, I haven't.
Just try it sometime.
I probably won't.
Fair enough. I don't even know why I suggested you do that. I'm going to hell.
In
I
a
have heard
handbasket.
in a handbasket. I've heard vaguely of Ecordia. It is the hill country to the far east of the Noragolian Empire. I've also heard Agatham curse your land more than once when his troops were routed in the unaccustomed mountains and gorges. Saith she.
Thus saith the Lord.
Thus saith the Lord. He's got the Bible open again. Aye, my people are not tarnished by petty luxuries and baubles. They remain fierce and unconquerable in their native climes. After reaching the hidden panel at the head of the stairway, Grigner was at a loss in regards to its operation. His fiercest heaves were as pebbles against burnished armor.
Just recently
Athena.
you reset a trap, and now you can't operate a... Oh, never.
Staircase, yes. Parthena depressed the small symbol included within the elaborate design upon the panel, where open... Okay, I'm gonna guess where upon? Design upon the panel...
Where it slowly
slid into a cleft in the wall. How did you come to be victim of those crazed Shah men? Quested Grigner as he escorted Carthena through the piles of rummage on the left side of the trap. By Agapham's orders, I was thrust into a secluded cell to await his passing of sentence. By some means, the priests of Argon acquired a set of keys to the cell. They slew the guard placed over me and abducted me to the chamber in which you chanced to come upon the Skuzdik sacrifice. Is this a word?
Looks Polish. Okay,
Yes.
Eye of Argon matchup quiz stats.
Oh dear. Well, we'll keep this. We'll keep this for later. Anyway. Their hell-spawned cult demands a sacrifice once every 3 moons upon its full journey through the heavens. They were startled by your unannounced appearance through the fear that you had been sent by Agatham. The prince would surely have submitted them to the most ghastly of tortures, if he had ever discovered their unfaithfulness to Sargon, his bastard deity. Sargon versus Argon. Naming sense is not quite there. Many of the partakers of the ritual were high nobles and high trustees of the inner palace. Agapham's pitiless wrath would have been unparalleled. Well, unparalleled, according to this story. I guess I've been wrong my entire life. They have no more to fear of Agatham now, bellowed Grigner in a deep, mirthful tone. Not M. A gleeful smirk upon his face. I have seen that they were delivered from his vengeance. Alright, we got our main character bragging about killing these guys because... Okay, he saved her, which is a good thing, but also... He's kind of a dick.
Also, they're trying to escape. Why is he bellowing? Shouldn't he be trying to be quiet?
Unsure. He's not... He's not the smartest of people. He's a barbarian, right?
Only if
guess.
the mood strikes him. I mean...
Yeah, you're right. Only if the mood strikes him. Let's see here. Engrossed by Carthena's graceful stride and conversation, Grigner failed to take note of the footfalls rapidly approaching behind him. As he swung aside the arched portal linking the chamber with the corridors beyond, a maddened, bloodlusting screech reverberated from his eardrums. Seemingly utilizing the speed of thought, Grigner swiveled to face his unknown foe. With gaping eyes and widened jaws, Grigner raised his axe above his surly mind. But he was too late. I'm gonna guess he was gonna attack whatever's coming,
Yeah, but it
and
was
then
too
he's too
late.
late. Yes. Oh, I'm gonna guess. Oh, I don't need to guess. It's right here. With wobbling knees and swimming head, the priest that had lapsed into an epileptic seizure rose unsteadily to his feet. Oh, he's actually acknowledging that one of the priests is still up. While enacting his choking fit in writhing agony, the shaman was overlooked by Grigner. The barbarian had mistaken the seizure for the death throes of the acolyte, allowing the priest to avoid his stinging blade. The sight that met the priest's inflamed eyes nearly served to sprawl him upon the floor once more.
Grigner actually thought his presence was enough to kill someone.
Yes. He thought it's enough to freak someone out.
But
Out to
hey,
death.
at least this is a character flaw. He was actually arrogant enough to believe that.
I like it. The sacrificial sat it grim. What? Blood spattered silence all around him, broken only by the occasional yelps and howls of his maimed and butchered fellows. Above his head rose the hideous idol, its empty socket holding the shaman's furbished, infuriated gaze. What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
His eyes turned to a stony glaze with the realization of the pillage and blasphemy. Due to his high susceptibility following the seizure, the priest was transformed into a raving maniac, bent solely upon wreaking vengeance. Wreaking? With lips curled and quivering, a crust of foam dripping from them, the acolyte drew a long, wicked-looking jewel-hilted scimitar from his silver girdle and flew through the aperture in the ceiling, uttering a faintly perceptible ceremonial gibberish. So he's got foam out of his mouth with a sword,
He's screaming gibberish.
screaming gibberish at his next victim, which is probably Grigner. A sweeping scimitar swung towards Grigner's head in a shadowed blur of motion. With axe raised over his head, Grigner prepared to parry the blow, while gaping wide-eyed in open-mouthed perplexity. Suddenly, a sharp snap resounded behind the frothing shaman. The scimitar, halfway through its fatal sweep, dropped from a quivering, nerveless hand, clattering harmlessly into the stonage. A sharp snap behind the shaman, halfway dropped from a quivering, nerveless hand, cutting his screech short with a bubbling, red-mouthed gurgle. The lacerated acolyte staggered under the pressure of the released springboard. You can imagine what killed him now.
The giant meat tenderizer.
Hell yeah. After a moment of hopeless struggling, the shaman buckled, sprawling face down in a widening pool of blood, as Exodus would have me say, and entrails. His regal purple robe blending enhancingly with the swirling streams of crimson. Absorb that for a second here. Mrifk! I thought I had killed the last of those dogs, muttered Grigner in a half-apathetic state. What was the point of that, then?
To get use out of the trap.
I mean, yeah, but like... Oh no.
That was the entire point.
This is how not to do this. No. That entire plot point. It felt like a waste. A total waste. It's so disappointing. Nay, Grigner, you doubtless grew careless while giving vent to your lusts. But let us not tarry any long, lest we overtax the fates. The path leading to freedom will soon be barred. The wretch's cries must certainly have attracted unwanted attention. The wench, he used. Why is she called a wench? I thought she was your friend.
She has been delegated from female to winch.
I mean,
I
you
wanna
got her
pro-
bench before, so
I know, but like, I miss female now. By what direction shall we pursue our flight, female? Up that stair and down the corridor a short distance is the concealed entrance to a tunnel seldom used by others than the prince, and known to few others save the palace's royalty. It is used mainly by the prince when he wishes to take leave of the palace in secret. It is not always in the prince's best interest to leave his chateau in public view. Even while under heavy guard, he is often assaulted by hurtling stones and rotting fruits. The commoners have little love for him. Lectured the Nair lady?
Huh?
Is it because she's a hoe? I mean, she's a rake. Like a nether lady?
sure.
I'm giving this dude any out. I'm being generous, all right? Living up to my last name, which means generosity in Arabic. In case you guys didn't know. Anywho, lectured the female. It is amazing that they would ever have left a pig like him become their ruler. I should imagine that his people would rise up and crucify him like the dog he is. Alas, Grigner, it is not as simple as all that. His soldiers are well paid by him. So long as he keeps their wages up, they will carry out his damned wishes. The crude implements of the common folk could never stand up under an onslaught of forged blades and protective armor. They would be going to their own slaughter. Stated Carthena to a confused but angered Grigner as they topped the stairway. As she called her by name.
Wow. Also, he goes straight for crucifixion.
Yep. He's got the Bible open, remember? We have a short drink of water. Water is important, kids. Yet how can they bear to live under such oppression? I would sooner die beneath the sword than live under such a dog's command, added Grigner as the pair stalked down the hall in the direction opposite that in which Grigner had come. But all men are not of the same mold that you are born of. They choose to live as they are so as to save their filthy necks from the chopping block, returned Carthena in a disgusted tone as she cast an appeased glance towards the stalwart figure at her side, whose left arm was wound dexterously about her slim waist. Like, this is important to know. He's got an arm wrapped around her, huh? Huh? His slowly waning torch casting their images in intermingling wisps as it dangled from his left hand.
So apparently valuing your own life is worthy of disgust.
Yep. Filthy next on the chopping block. You know, you should die for what you believe in.
Even if you don't believe it.
Even if you don't believe it.
You should die for what I believe in, basically.
Yes. Presently, Carthena came upon the panel, concealed amongst the other amongst g, g, you missed the G amongst the other granite slabs, and discernible only by the burnt out crescent above it. As I pushed the crest, what? All right. As I pushed the crescent aside, pushed the. Okay. He's giving her, or he. Okay, hold on. She's giving him directions. As I pushed the crescent aside, pushed the panel inwards. Katarina, not Carthena. She is now Katarina. Motioned to the panel she was referring to, and twisted the crescent in a counterclockwise motion. Grigner braced his right shoulder against the walling, concentrating the force of his bulk against it. He is one bulky dude. The slab gradually swung inward with a slight grating sound. Carthena stooped beneath Grigner's corded arms and crawled upon all fours into the passage beyond. Grigner followed after easing the slab back into place. Winding before the pair was a dark, musty tunnel, exhibiting tangled spider webs from its ceiling to wall, and an oozing, sickly slime running lazily upon its floor. Hanging from the chipped wall upon Grigner's right side was a half-mouldered corpse, its gray flaking arms held in place by rusted iron manacles. Half-mouldered. I like how Mulder changes. He adds a U now. Carthena flinched back into Grigner's arms at sight of the leering set in an ugly, distorted grimace, staring horribly at her from hollow, gaping sockets. He likes using this particular bit of imagery. The sockets are always hollow and gaping. The corpses are always moldering. And all the skin is always flacking. Obviously, it means flaking, but yes. Okay. If you're wondering why I paused between reading, I've been listening to a dude who does narrations in what was his name? Matt's server, Darkness and Throne. I'm part of his server, and there's a dude that does audiobooks, etc. And I've noticed something that he pauses for a second to read the sentence in his head before actually reading it, which I've been trying out. This alcove must also be used by Agathim as a torture chamber. I wonder how many of his enemies have disappeared into these haunts, never to be heard from again, pondered the hulking brute. Let us flee before we are also caught within Agathim's ghastly clutches. The exit from this tunnel cannot be very far from here, said Carthena with a slight sob to her voice as she sagged in Grigner's encompassing embrace. Aw, he's such a good barbarian. Aye, it will be best to be finished with this corridor as soon as it is possible. But why do you flinch from the sight of death so? Rift! You have seen much death this day without exhibiting such emotions, exclaimed Grigner as he led her trembling form along the dingy confines. The man hanging from the wall was Doyanta. Doyanta what? He had committed the folly of showing affections for me in front of Agathim. He never meant any harm by his actions. At this, Carthena broke into a slow, steady whimpering, choking her voice with gasping sobs. There was never anything between us, yet Agathim did this to him. The beast made the demons of hell's deepest haunts claw away at his wretched flesh for this merciless act, she prayed. God damn, alright, we get it. Agathim's a bad guy. I detect that you felt more for this fellow than you wish to let on. But enough of this. We can talk of such matters after we are once more free to do so. With this, Grigner lifted the grieved female to her feet and strode onward down the corridor, supporting the bulk of her weight with a surging left arm. I feel like how she. It's funny how she goes back to being a grieved female when she starts being emotional. Like she's Carthena when
she's not worthy of her name anymore because she showed emotion.
exactly like the part where she's giving him directions and shit. She's Carthena. She's like giving him orders and such. Yeah, you turn this clockwise. You turn here. You go this way. And then the moment she starts crying, she becomes the grieved female. Presently, a dim light was perceptibly filtering into the tunnel, casting a dim reddish hue upon the moldy wall of the passage's grim confines. Carthena had ceased her whimpering and partially regained her composure. See? As soon as the whimpering stops, she's back
She
to
has
being
her name
Carthena.
again.
The tunnel's end must be nearing. Rays of sunlight are beginning to seep into Rigner. Clamped his right hand over Carthena's mouth, and with a slight struggle, pulled her over to the shadows at the right-hand wall of the path, while at the same time thrusting his torch beneath an overhanging stone to smother its flickering rays. Be silent, female. I can hear footfalls approaching through the tunnel, growled Grigner in a hushed tone. All that you hear are the horses corralled at the far end of the tunnel. That is a further sign that we are nearing our goal, she stated. And the exclamation mark, it's important here. For no particular reason. What is this? Copy image link. What is this? Is that a mouth? Huh.
Huh.
All that you hear is less than I hear. I heard footsteps coming towards us. Silence yourself, female, so that we may find out who we are being brought into contact with. I doubt that any would have thought as yet of searching this passage for us. The advantage of surprise will be upon our side, Grigner warned. Carthena cast her eyes downward and ceased any further pursuit towards conversation, an irritating habit in which she had gained an amazing proficiency. Is this a long way of saying that she's a woman and likes to talk?
I think so.
Two figures came into the pair's view from around a turn in the tunnel. They were clothed in rich, luxuriant silks and rambling on in conversation, while ignorant of their crouching foes waiting in an ambush ahead. That barbarian dog is cringing beneath the weight of the lash at this moment, sire. He shall cause no more disturbance. Aye, and so it is with any who dare to cross the path of Sargon's chosen one, said the second man. Second man, it's obviously the prince. But the peasants are showing signs of growing unrest. They complain that they cannot feed their families while burdened with your taxes. I shall teach those sluts the meaning of humility. Order an immediate increase upon their taxes. They dare question my sovereign authority? Ha ha! They shall soon learn what a true oppression can be. I will. A shadowed bulk leapt from behind a jutting promontory as it brought down a double-edged axe with the speed of a striking thought. One of the nobles sagged lifeless to the ground, skull split to the teeth. Rigner gasped as he observed the bisected face set in its leading death agonies. It was Agathon! When did his name change? Again.
Just now?
The dead man's comrade, having recovered from his shock, drew a jewel-encrusted dagger from beneath the folds of his robe and lunged towards the barbarian's back. Grigner spun at the sound from behind and smashed down his crimsoned axe once more. His antagonist lunged, howling, to a stream of stagnant green water, grasping a spouting stump that had once been a wrist. Oh, he cut off his hand. Rigner raised his axe over his head and prepared to finish the incomplete job, but was deterred halfway through his lunge by a frenzied screech from behind. Arthena leapt to the head of the writhing figure, plunging a smoldering torch into the agonized face. The howls increased in their horrid intensity, stifled by the sizzling of roasting flesh, then died down until the man was reduced to a blubbering mass of squirming, insensate flesh. She is vicious.
Yeah. Right?
Imagine if I attacked you with a torch and just this is like putting your cigarette into someone, putting it out. The same thing. Rigner advanced to Carthena's side, wincing slightly from the putrid aroma of charred flesh that rose in a puff of thick, white smog throughout the chamber. This imagery. Carthena reeled slightly, staring dazedly downwards at her gruesome handiwork. I had to do it. It was Agathon. I had to, she
Name
exclaimed.
changed again.
Name change again. Sargon should be more careful of his right-hand men, added Grigner, a smug grin upon his lips. But to hell with Sargon for now. The stench is becoming bothersome to me. With that, Grigner grasped Carthena around the waist, leading her around the bend in the cave and into the open. Oh, I wonder what he's gonna do. A ball of feral red was rising through the mists of the eastern horizon, dissipating the slinking shadows of the night. A coral stood before the pair, enclosing two grazing mares. Grigner reached into a weighted down leather pouch dangling at his side and drew forth the scintillant red emerald he had obtained from the bloated idol. Raising it towards the sun, he said, "We shall do well with bauble, eh?" What? I mean, I know what he's trying to say, that he's gonna take the gem and sell it.
For a lot of money.
Yeah. Athena gaped at the gem, gasping in a terrified manner. The Eye of Argon. Oh, Kala. At this, the gem gave off a blinding glow, then dribbled through Grigner's fingers in a slimy red ooze. So the gem became ooze?
Yep.
Grigner stepped back, pushing Carthena behind him. The droplets of slime slowly converge into a pulsating, jelly-like mass. A single opening transfixed the blob, forming into a leech-like maw. Alright, so it's a leech monster slash blob. And it shows up after he kills the prince.
Is this the first time slime is an enemy in a fantasy setting?
Is it?
I'm asking you.
I have absolutely no idea. If this was in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Very well could be. Is this the origin of my favorite monster?
Would you be happy about that?
No, I wouldn't be sad. Let's just say that. That gives it a nice history. Then the hideous transgressor of nature flowed towards Grigner, a trail of greenish slime lingering behind it. The single gap puckered repeatedly, emitting a ghastly sucking sound. Oh my god. That's a scary slime. Grigner spread his legs into a battle stance, steeling his quivering thews for a battle royale? At least put an E after, with a thing he knew not how to fight. Parthena wound her arms around her protector's neck, mumbling, "Kill it! Kill!" while her entire body trembled. I'm surprised she hasn't become the female again. The thing was almost upon Grigner when he buried his axe into the grisly maw. It passed through the blob and clanged upon the ground. Grigner drew his axe back with a film of yellow-green slime clinging to the blade. The thing was seemingly unaffected. Then it started to sluice up his leg. The sluice? I'm guessing slime ooze? I'ma sluice up your leg. The hairs upon his nape stood on end from the slimy feel of the thing's bulk. Alright, this is degenerating very quickly here. Stood. Bewley. What is this? It's an actual word. Is it nautus? There's nauseous. Search instead for nautus. Meaning. Doesn't exist. The nautus sucking sound became louder, and Grigner felt the blood being drawn from his body. Ooh, no. With each hiss of hideous pucker, the thing increased in size. Grigner shook his foot about madly in an attempt to dislodge the blob, but it clung like a leech, still feeding upon his rapidly draining life fluid. He grasped with his hands trying to rip it off, but only found his hands entangled in sickly glue-like substance. The slimy thing continued its puckering, now having grown the size of Grigner's leg from its vampiric feast. Grigner began to reel and stagger under the blob, his chalk-white face and faltering muscles attesting to the gigantic loss of blood. Parthena slipped from Grigner in a death-like faint, a marrow-chilling scream upon her red rubish lips. In final desperation, Grigner grasped the smoldering torch upon the ground and plunged it into the reeking maw of the travesty. A shudder passed through the thing. Grigner felt the blackness closing upon his eyes, but held on with the last ebb of his rapidly waning vitality. He could feel its grip lessening as a hideous gurgling sound erupted from the writhing maw. The jelly-like mass began to bubble like a vat of boiling tar as quivers passed up and down its entire form. End of available copy. So this is the lost ending?
Yeah, so the story is like when it was first, it wasn't published, but some author got this magazine and he spread it amongst his colleagues, and that's how it was read at cons. The problem was he lost the last page of the magazine because it was like a really cheaply produced thing.
Oh.
And they found a copy that had the final page in the library of, I think, Michigan, I'm not sure, but in a library archive somewhere, and that's what's included here.
The lost ending. I like how epic it sounds.
You will be disappointed.
With a sloshing plop, the thing fell to the ground, evaporating in a thick scarlet cloud until it reattained its original size. It remained thus for a moment as the puckered maw took the shape of a protruding red eyeball, the pupil of which seemed to unravel before it the tale of creation. How a shapeless mass slithered from the quagmires of the stigmatic pool of time, only to degenerate into a leprosy of avaricious lust. Wow, the imagery here. Like, what even? In that fleeting moment, the grim mystery of life was revealed before Grigner's ensnared gaze. The eyeball's glare turned to a sudden plea of mercy, a plea for the whole of humanity. Then the blob began to quiver with violent convulsions. The eyeball shattered into 1,000 tiny fragments and evaporated in a curling wisp of scarlet mist. The very ground below the thing began to vibrate and swallow it up with a belch. With a belch? Just having its noon meal and then just burps it at the end. The thing was gone forever. All that remained was a dark red blotch upon the face of the earth, blotching things up. What? All that remained was a blotch that blotched things up.
Yeah. Kind of like the story.
Shaking his head, his shaggy mane, to clear the jumbled fragments of his mind, Grigner tossed the limp female over his shoulder. He's back to being a female. Mounting one of the disgruntled mares and leading the other, the wary, scarred barbarian trotted slowly off into the horizon to become a tiny pinpoint in a filtered file of swirling blue mists, leaving the nobles, soldiers, and peasants to replace the missing monarch. Long Live the King? By Jim Theus. Winner of the J.T. Rikosh Award for Excellence. Wow.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wait, it won an award for excellence.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a joke award. Let's look it up.
No, it's not a real award. It's like an award from this one fanzine, I think.
What?
What?
I don't know. So I just very ambitious. Oh my god. Anyway. What else is here? Might as well read the transcriber's notes because he took the trouble to actually put this all in digital form. No mere transcription can give the true flavor of the original printing of the Eye of Argon. It was mimeographed with stencils cut on an elite manual typewriter. Many letters were so faint as to be barely readable. Others were overstruck, and some that were to be removed never got painted out with correction fluid. Usually, only one space separated sentences, while paragraphs were separated by a blank line and were indented 10 spaces. Many words were grotesquely hyphenated, and there were illustrations. I cannot do them justice in mere words, but they were a match for the text. He's so right. He is so right. These are the major losses of this version. Otherwise, all effort has been made to retain the full and correct text, preserving even misspellings and drop spaces. An excellent proofreader has checked it for errors both omitted and committed. What mismatches remain are mine. I shall endeavor to keep a copy of the original available for viewing so it may be appreciated in all its fullness. But as a labor of love for those whose third-generation copies have now succumbed to the bitter vicissitudes of time and entropy, worn away by the ravages of countless rereadings before enthralled. Oh, in the spirit of the story.
Yeah.
audiences, yet who have found that the heady flavor of its stylistic paragraphs has seeped into their soul and still grips it with a fervent grasp. I dedicate this machine-readable version of the inimitable The Eye of Argon. He's so right, though. Like,
And there's actually a PDF. If you go a bit further down, you can actually see the original text. PDF
facsimile?
facsimile. Yeah,
simile, as they would say it.
exactly.
What?
Oh. Oh.
Oh, the female! Look, it's the female. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Oh my god, yeah. This is definitely typewritten. Wait, page 27. This is page 1. Brush through this a little bit. I like how the paper changes color.
Yeah.
They didn't scan the entire magazine. They only scanned the Eye of Argon.
Oh yeah, it was published in a magazine.
Wait a minute. Hell yeah. Who the heck is this? This is ancient history at this point. Just wow. It's like, I don't. The person who transcribed this, he's so right, though. Like it's got a style. It's got a style to it that somehow just keeps drawing you in.
Yeah. I can see why they read it at conventions.
It has stood the test of time.
And how bad it is, but also how alluring somehow it is. Now, what was this that we found? I have Argon matchup quiz stats. No, okay. How do I do the quiz? Oh, let me guess. Is this because I'm using an ad blocker that it doesn't show me? Or is
Or
do I
maybe-
have to press this? Oh, okay, there it is. I'm stupid. Alright, I have Argon quiz. I'm probably gonna fail this, to be honest with you. Play quiz. Return Carthena in a disgusted tone as she cast. Oh no,
Oh.
I mean, Bustily could work.
I don't think.
Bastily was used when she said something.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's not whimsicorically.
Xbox.
Was it
Oh, we're
me?
being kind.
Which one?
Not sure.
This is a timed quiz. It's probably female. No, never mind. I got it wrong. Naked safe for a loincloth, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Is there even loincloth here?
Yes.
No.
Right. Yes. Left. Right. Right. Up.
Oh,
Right.
there you go.
Yeah.
Loincloth. We got it. Good job, gentlemen. We got one question right.
One and one.
Aye, the ways of our civilization are in many ways warped and distorted. But what is your calling? Bustily.
Yes.
That's what I remember.
In the middle of the first line.
First line, middle word.
What are you called by? Female? There's female.
Wasn't it
Female.
French?
I'm pretty sure it was female.
Or wasn't it
See?
barbarian? Yeah,
It was
okay.
female. For me, Sarah. For me, as always. Now, this one I don't know.
Agafant.
You think so?
I think so.
No, it wasn't.
No.
You're wrong. You are incorrect, sir. Entrailing a slimy string of disjointing vertebrae, snapped trachea, esophagus, and jugular. Disjointed.
Hyoid bone.
Wow. Her stringy lines of hair swaying gracefully over the lithe,
Opaque.
opaque nose.
Yes. I remember that because I laughed about it.
Parthena slipped from Grigner in a death-like faint. A morrow chilling scream upon her red rubish lips, if I remember right.
Yeah, you too.
There we go. By the surly beard of Mrifk, probably. Grigner kneels to no man. Pleaded a soft, anguish-strewn voice wafting over Grigner's shoulders as he plucked the dull.
Wasn't it red?
Faucet.
Say what?
I think
Is
it
it
was red.
Fauceted? What do you mean red? It's an emerald.
So,
Emeralds are green.
I mean, you have jade in the second line left to loincloth, and you have red in the left corner. I think it's red.
I don't think it's red, but I don't think it's jade either.
I think it's fauceted.
I think it's fauceted, but I don't know.
I know fauceted was used to describe the emerald at one point. It might not have been this one, but it was used at least once.
When selected, I mean, 2 to
I
1.
pick a number between 1 and 3.
2.
Okay, we're gonna go with jade. You're wrong. Rigner was led along a stone pathway bordered by plush vegetation, enhanced by the moon's shimmering rays.
Have no idea.
No idea either. Lustfully?
No.
I mean... no. Saluz is for the slime thing trying to go up his leg.
I think pastely, but I'm not sure. Below loincloth.
Could be that. No.
Nope.
After spilling a spout of blood from the leader of the mercenaries as he
Dismembered.
dismembered. There we go. He had unknowingly stumbled upon an ancient, long-forgotten booby trap, a mistake which would have stunted the perusal. Because we talked about this
Yes.
as the segregated torso of Grigner's bovine, right?
Yes. Because we joked about that too.
I like how we remember all of these. Like, okay, we got 4 questions wrong, but we got 10 of them right.
Prepare to embrace your creators in the Stygian thoughts of hell?
Stygian, yeah, most likely. There it is. The trek to Gorzum was forced upon Grigner when the soldiers of Kryn were leashed upon him by a concubine he had wooed.
Faithless.
Faithless, yeah. The thing was seemingly unaffected. Then it started to sluice up his leg. Grigner wrenched his right arm free and
To face Broig.
swiveled. Has to be this. His face lit up to a Red ferocity. Okay, I don't think it's ashen because it doesn't fit.
Might it be a double red?
A double red.
Red ferocity. You have red in the left corner.
Nope.
Nope.
Causing the ruptured shaman to collapse in a huddled mass, rolling helplessly about in his agony.
You know, this actually shows that this adjective shouldn't have been even used. Wait, what did you select?
I put ashen, but I was wrong. Rigner raised his axe above his
That's
surly.
main.
Main.
Yep. Last word, second row.
The paunchy noble's sagging round face flushed suddenly pale. Then lit up to a lustrous cherry red radiance. Lustfully? No, not lustfully. Hastily? No. Nobly? No. I don't know.
I have no idea.
No idea.
Let's go with pastily. Any
Pastry doesn't lit up.
Might be just be Agathand. Nope.
at the foot of heathen deity, a slender, pale-faced female, naked but for a golden jeweled harness enshrining her huge.
Outcropping.
Pleased.
So
No,
right.
outcome.
Rigner slipped his right hand to his thigh, concealing a small opaque object beneath the folds of the. Did we already use loincloth?
Wasn't it object? No, G-string.
Is it a
wrapped
G-string?
around-
Oh yes, you're right. Like how we're having a test after the damn thing. He's wearing a G-string. It was not a foolproof plan, yet it built up a store of renewed vortex energy in his
Overwrought soul.
overwrought soul, correct? The Commodores have little love for him, lectured the female, the Nair lady, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. His trust found him with a dagger thrust his ribs. The wench stated.
Whimsically.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, you're right. Whimsically. I like how we're 27 questions in. There are 8 left, and we're 20 out of 35. Gaping from its single oblong socket was scintillating many
Faceted.
scarlet emerald. Faceted?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably that.
Scarlet Emerald.
Look, man.
I was right. Red was the right answer.
Yeah, you were probably right. They slew the guard placed over me and abducted me to the chamber in which you chanced to come upon the
Third word, bottom row.
Skostic. No, you have to pronounce this. Come on.
Skostic.
Skostic. The air was heavy with choking fume, spewing from, encased within the dense earthen-packed walls. Smoldering torches? No.
It might be.
No, actually, it might be. Yep, it was. I used context for that. I didn't even remember. Above his head rose the hideous idol, its empty socket holding the shaman's infuriated gaze. Is this it? No.
No, that was for the face of the Saku.
Furbished?
I think so.
Yeah, it was. Her confused head reeled, then clouded in a mist of enshrining ebony as she lapsed beneath the protective sheath of unconsciousness to a land resign. Ashen?
I have no idea.
No
I don't
idea
know.
either. I was wrong.
No.
Rigner gasped as he observed the bisected face set in its
Agathend.
sling. It was Agathend. Featured at the head of each sarcophagus in tarnished silver was an
Expansionist
the way he said that. Cringing woefully from the priest with both arms wound snake-like around the bulging jade chin rising before her scantily attired figure. I don't know. What do you guys think?
egg.
Egg? I thought about egg. No, it wasn't egg. Use the buttons below to review the answers.
That's a solid A- effort.
Yay! We remember it good enough. We win. Wait, no. I don't think that means we win. I think that means we lose, to be honest. The Eye of Argon. Let me just screenshot of this. This definitely needs to be in the dumpster fires. All right. Oh yeah, what was red for?
Dull red emerald.
I was right.
Yeah, you were
Lyle
right.
was right.
How do you feel about being right?
Awesome. What was egg? I'm curious about that.
Egg? Rupture shaman to collapse in an egg-huddled mass to the granite pavement.
All right.
Yeah, I know, it makes no sense.
Lustfully enhanced. Okay.
God, I love this story. Like, I should just get this story saved forever and just routinely
Looking
look.
at the comments, it looks like that one guy's asking to be unbanned.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I forgot what the issue was in the first place. So I'll have to go look again.
It was he made a statement and you asked him to defend it, and he.
Oh
you
yeah, okay,
troll.
now I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you a chance.
I don't remember that.
You're probably asleep.
Tell me after the stream.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you probably missed the whole thing, to be honest, because it probably happened while you were taking it, sleeping.
Yeah.
You are in Europe. All right, we actually finished something.
Yeah.
Next week,
So are we going back to the rising sun next, or are we doing something different?
we're gonna go back to our favorite person in Westeros. I mean, in Japan.
If I
Wait, no,
recall
he flew back.
correctly,
He
the
flew back.
last when we left off, he had just asked Ashara if she was his mother.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Are you my mommy? That's what that was. So yeah, we'll do that next week. I'll spare everybody the awkward 5-minute rambling goodbyes and just straight up say goodbye right now.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
subscribe and click the notification bell.
Oh yes, subscribe to my channel, please. If you enjoy the content. If you don't enjoy the content, I mean, you made it this far, so I don't. You probably do enjoy it, so whatever.
Exactly.
Like the video and subscribe, and also hang out in my Discord. You know, we like to mess around. Ryle puts a lot of content in the Dumpster Fire channel, so a lot of content that misses here. Like, eventually we'll get around to it, but if you want early access to all this stuff, you'll see it in the Dumpster channel. And with that said, we shall now take our leave lustfully.
Farewell.
Off into the off into the whimsical sunset. We shall return to our Stygian roots with the lustful moon raised above us. Goodbye, everybody.
I guess I should thank you. But that'd be out of character. Maybe you should just throw an insult my way instead. Yeah, that sounds better. Still, I owe you.
Bye-bye, everyone.